physics review video, Unit 1, Science Skills. The skill we will be looking at today is graphing using LoggerPro. If you look, I already have LoggerPro open. I believe this is version 3.8.5. You might be using a slightly different version, but most of the mechanics work exactly the same. First thing you are going to want to do is right-click on the graph. After you right-click, you want to click Graph Options. If it does not appear, click on the graph with a left click, and then right-click and click Graph Options. You want a title. Today, for example, I'm going to use an example from chemistry last year. We're going to do a mass versus volume graph. Couple things. I want my point symbols on, or my point protectors if you're using an older version, but I do not want to connect the points. You do not highlight this unless you definitely want to them connected. The other thing you may do is you can start by scaling auto scale from 0 on the Y and auto scale from 0 on the X. You can also do this later, but it's helpful to do it now. I click Done. We have a nice title. This is our Y-axis versus our X-axis. Next thing we want is some data. So you're going to double click on the X. I want this to be my volume, so I name it volume. Short name, I can call it V, or I can call it volume. And my units. For this experiment, we did centimeters cubed. A nice clean way to do that is to use this side pull-down panel. You can use superscripts. This is also where you can add degrees. You can add symbols we'll be using later in physics, like the omega or a delta. You can also put subscripts. That's all. So we have name, short name, units. Click Done. My y-axis will be mass. And I want that to be in, I believe we used grams. Once again, name, short name, units. Notice how your axes are both marked. If you want these axes changed, all you have to do is click and change them. Real simple. Go back to mass versus volume. Now, put your data in. If you hit enter, it'll always go sideways. So just be careful of that. You are not entering your data straight down. It's going to do them as data pairs. There was a mistake. You just go back and click. Notice how the data is already showing up and your graph is being auto-scaled. So we have data, we have a graph. Your greatest point is in one corner, your lowest points are in the other. Gives you a nice scale on both. You have a graph. Now if you want to put a best fit line in, two ways to do it. You can either click your graph once and click this R equals linear fit. It will give you a line with a box, tells you the slope, the y-intercept. Notice how the units are already in it because you set your units up here. They will show up in your information. So that's either click the R equals, or you can go to Analyze, Linear Fit, and do the same thing. Before you call your teacher over, sometimes you'll click on this and you won't get stuff. That time it'll work, but if you click on your data set and go to linear fit, sometimes it won't let up. You need to be clicked on the graph. Also, sometimes you'll accidentally highlight a piece and you'll only get the data for the linear fit for that small piece. This example just happens to work out, but if we have curved lines, like in Unit 3, that won't always work. So make sure you always give a click on the graph so it's all white before you put on your linear fit. And just like I said before, you can make modifications, change your volt to volume, change to mass. You can, if you want your axes to be a different range, you can always type something new in and just hit enter. And you get your graph there. If that graph is too small, right click, auto scale from 0. Let me do that again. Right click, auto scale from 0. That is the basic run through for Logger Pro. You'll be doing some more with it and straightening out lines and finding areas in our slopes. But these are the basics just to get your data. Make sure you're labeling with units your data sets. Make sure you have a title in. Make sure you're putting your data in correctly. Those are the big things.